And live.
Welcome back.
Welcome. It's been a few weeks.
So I just actually looked in front of me and I was like, what is this beautiful dark drink? And then I smelled it and I was like, there's some shenanigans going on in here.
Yeah, and you even wore your bourbon shirt today.
Absolutely, because bourbon is essential. Or essential or something, but it's definitely amazing. Today we have, first of all, welcome back. We're here with Chris from the Dirty Oar, and we haven't got to see Chris in a long time.
Yeah, it has been a little while.
So it's so great to see you. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for these wonderful brews. And we hope that things are going well over there at the Dirty Oar. We've all been challenged, but to have a place where people are usually going to sit down to have a drink instead of taking it with them, it definitely offers a challenge. So
yeah, it's a little different, but luckily people are still helping us out.
I love that.
They're still coming and getting our product, and we really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Actually, it's always a good time to stop by. When you open?
We have COVID hours now, so we are 2 to 6 Wednesday and Thursday. Friday and Saturday and Sunday we're 12 to 6.
And if you need to send them a message or ask a question, there's always someone there. I know you communicate through Facebook. Yeah,
Facebook's the easiest way because it goes off on all of our pockets. So if you ever have a question, personal or direct message us on a Facebook Messenger, and we'll get right back to you.
That's awesome. So what do we have here today?
Okay, so this I'm really excited about. We were going to put it out Wednesday, but I ended up getting it ready a day early. So we released it yesterday. This is our Surfboard, which was an Imperial Stout with Milk Stout, I should say, with coconut and vanilla that we put in the 14-year Knob Creek barrel that we have, and it has sat for 6 months in there. So it's got a really deep, good bourbon character and also a lot of white oak char to it, and the coconut's perfect. It's not suntanny, lotiony. It's very soft on the palate, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out.
You do an amazing job. So if you don't know, Chris is like the creator of all the brews. So he's
Is there a name for that?
The brewer?
Brewmaster?
I'm not really master of anything.
Yeah, well, you've mastered this because you've done a wonderful job on every single brew.
I gotta agree with
Absolutely. So
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, this is looking serious. Looks like the shit that came out of my old pickup truck when I changed it. Now I got a new one. It don't look that dirty.
No, it's amazing. So if we come to town, if anybody is in and around the city of Cocoa and they wanted to stop by the Dirty Oar, what's the address? How can we find you?
329 King Street. If you Google Dirty Oar beer, we're the first thing that pops up on Google. If anybody is a local and they knew where Norman's was for all those years, we share the same parking lot. Murdoch's actually bought the building, and they're fixing to move in sometime in the end of summer is the last we had heard. So we'll have new neighbors.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, Chris, we are so thankful for all that you do, and Paul, and I know y'all are continuing to work through COVID. Hey, I think alcohol, and this is a misstatement, a misrepresentation, but alcohol maybe kills COVID. So that's why they started with Corona. They wanted everybody to drink, but they weren't drinking enough. Yep. So now we'll try something different. So find your alcohol. You can always find a great drink, even water, at the Dirty Oar. Thank you so much for what you do.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure. I was there Saturday?
It was just a couple days
we
ago.
went there Saturday and picked up our to-go crowlers.
Yep, we got
crowlers,
32-ounce cans.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, actually, this is the third graphic that we've done,
Right.
and we're on our second to last box. So the new one I have ordered in, and those will probably be in either this week or next week. So we'll have a new can art.
So
to share.
Cool.
And he says art, it's actually real art. So if you get a can, you don't have to throw it away or whatever. Keep it. It looks actually amazing. So we have a local artist that paints those. So it's amazing. Absolutely.
I'm tired.
What are you tired of?
I'm just tired in general. I'm just sitting here going, man, I'm sleepy.
I learned how to drink this, the Knob Creek. I actually got a bottle from the barrel that y'all are using. And actually, you turned me on to it, drinking it cold. I drink my bourbon neat. And So I keep it in the refrigerator at my bar, at my home bar, and I always like that. It's refreshing. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it's very smooth for being. I think it's 120 proof, and it's
Yeah.
really smooth.
This is right here. Or
Well,
the-
the whiskey that came out of the barrel, because it was a single reserve barrel. We actually got the barrel from Michael's Liquors in Suntree.
Right.
He had bought all the whiskey in the barrel, and they shipped him the barrel, but his place isn't that big, and it was just taking up space. And Paul goes in there because it's right by his house, and he kept saying, "Hey man, what are you doing with the barrel? What are you doing with the barrel? We'll put beer in it." And finally, he let us have it.
Right.
Sweet.
I love how a
Alright.
network comes together.
You gotta
So-
make sure. Yeah.
What's the theme today?
Yeah. So somebody's already punking me out. Yeah. Chris Fields.
Oh,
So if you watch our show on Tuesday night, Trauma Behind the Badge, that's Chris is on there. He's our we call him the Tiger King because he's from Oklahoma where all that went
Carol
down.
Baskins. Right.
Yeah, and he said coincidence that you started late without Karen there to run things.
Hey.
Yeah, Karen actually decided to sit out tonight. She's she's pro avoid everybody COVID type stuff. She obviously got some issues with the autoimmune system, so we'll give a shout out to Karen. Obviously when she's not around, everybody gets nervous when I'm around and she's not around. But and then a shout out to my daughter. She's watching tonight, my princess.
I'm sure.
That's right. Things are always straight when I'm there. But she's chiming in.
Yeah.
She's running
She's
that mouth
always gonna
from the
have the
house.
last- always gonna have the
She's
last.
out the house talking crap
All right.
already. Well, you ain't here, so you ain't got nothing to say. Where's
Turn the
camera
volume
at?
up.
Where's
All
the
right,
camera?
we're getting situated. If you can notice in the studio, we've got a new little setup here, so we're all getting
Yeah.
adjusted and comfortable. Jesse kind of hooked it up, so we're working out the kinks as we talk right now.
It's Joe Rogan style studio. He hooked us up. Since our show's just as good as his, he sent us all this stuff.
We appreciate that.
But Joe Rogan ain't got guns on his table, that's for sure.
Yikes.
Well, hold on a second. Where's Chris? Oh, okay. I can't see Chris on that one, but you're on the main screen. Sorry.
Am I?
We're
Am I
just
good?
sorting out the bugs.
Yeah.
So anyway, tonight we're going to talk about what did she call it? Something trauma, physical trauma. You
Physical
should
trauma.
and listen. If there's anybody that knows anything about physical trauma, it's me. And what's up, Kevin? Shout out to Kevin. Doc Levi, if you don't know who he is, that's his code name, right? He went to a code name.
He needs a code name.
I'm sure he does after all the crazy crap he's throwing together out there. And so I got all my Trauma Behind the Badge guys up there. Hingle McCringleberry. That's his alias name. I'm the only one that goes with my real name. I don't care.
That's not even your real name, though.
No, it's not. It's my real name. What is my real name?
Mondo.
Mondo. Not
Mondo.
Mondo. Just Mondo.
It's not. He doesn't have a first name. He
Who
doesn't
is-
have a middle name.
The one dude used to call me Mongo.
Yeah, Mongo. Hey, we don't let Mongo out though, because
No.
he gets you. That's when he's running you down in the streets like lightning.
Hey, I wish I miss those days, and it's a perfect time for physical trauma.
Hey, can we So I know that you have some great thoughts about physical trauma, but I want to kind of start at the end.
Okay.
And why do I say start at the end? So this weekend we were hanging out, and
Funny shit.
you were out in the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean. We're doing family stuff, and it was amazing. You looked great, and you said something to me after you were out with, and you were playing with my little girls and at the beach, and you said, "I don't have any more pain."
No, I don't have any more pain like that.
Right.
Chris said, talk about the tandem biking and apparel. Yeah, I do a lot of tandem biking. That's why I'm so skinny. That's the first thing you said when you walked in. Why are you so
"Holy
skinny?
smoke." Yeah.
And the reason I'm so skinny is because I'm not swimming, obviously, because of this COVID crap. And, all the pools are closed.
Right.
And I'm not real comfortable swimming in the ocean nowadays. There's just way too many big things out there, and I guess as I get older, I care more. You know, back in the day, I was like, I don't care. I mean, trust me. After that experience I had swimming across the San Francisco Bay from Alcatraz, my run-in with great white shark, I just been a little bit reluctant to get out in that dark, murky water. But I don't have any more pain like that. My back feels good. Everything's starting to heal up. But, you know, it's just those moments where everything hurts. You know, every time I do something, something hurts, right?
Right.
But, yeah. And, well, my tight shirt, look how loose it is. And this is, this thing.
I eventually got to get them like a baby small now. I mean.
Right. I haven't been able to wear, so this shirt, I wore this shirt for a reason. I'm just going to get into this shirt. So, you know, I've been able to wear it for a few years because I was so much bigger. And the reason that I wore this shirt, so this is my first Escape from Alcatraz shirt. And I'll get into the physical trauma a little bit, but after I had all my issues and I went away to treatment, and I had lost my ability to do the things that I love to do. I always had this thing about me where I could, no matter what the situation was, I had this internal drive. Some people called it perseverance, which seems to, you know, be the term that followed me. I even have a plaque at home somebody made for me that said perseverance, because I always admired how I was, you know, for lack of a better term, screwed up, messed up, and then persevered to come back out on top.
Right.
And I had lost that drive, and because so if you step back a little bit, most people that watch the show, I'm sure, probably know a little bit of my background. But as an athlete, I always had that internal drive to excel my limits. For me, I always had to take it to that upper level. Right. You know, hence why I did what I did in my career. And I had this internal discipline and drive. And then what took over was that's what got me through everything. If I had a bad day, I would just run it out of me, you know?
Yeah.
Doug Levine said they had to order my clothes from Baby Gap. Well, so it's funny. So I'm walking around about 170 right now, and I usually walk around about 185, 190 when I'm training real hard. And when I started at Coco PD, I was 140 pounds.
140. Actually, I wish we could like pop up some pictures, because I've been looking at them lately.
There's some funny ones out there, because I would have been a great undercover crack dealer, you know, or crack buyer, because I was so skinny because I was training for Ironman. So I was burning 6,000 plus calories a day. Right. That's pretty radical, right. You know. I was only eating probably half that. And so anyway, back to it. What took over was the injuries, you know, from work. It wasn't just one little injury. It was a melee of them. It was, I broke my hand, ripped my shoulder, had a torn rotator, broke my hand, cracked a sternum. It was a multitude of things. Took some cuts and some, you know, stitches and all that kind of, you know, stuff. And then there was some things I did that got me injured that I don't talk about. But anyway, the pain became so radical that I couldn't function at the level I was. And then what happens is the things that made me happy I couldn't do. So for a guy like me, I have to venture out all the time. I have to be moving and mobile, and I can't sit still, period. Right. And so that forced me to sit still. And then forcing me to sit still, I was at a house at the time that was an unhealthy place. I had a piece of shit girlfriend at the time who made me miserable, made my life miserable. Right. And so all those things compiled on and overtook. And depression is a radical thing. A lot of people don't understand depression. They think, oh, well, I'm sad some days and I'm happy some days. And, I'm just always tired. I wish I felt better. Listen, one of the key things that depression does to people is make them tired. to a level that is unbearable. It will make you sleep all day. It will make it will make the guy who fishes every day stop fishing. It will make the guy, whatever it is, and even a guy like me who, when I was working, I was running 50 to 70 miles a week, which is
insane. There's no other word for that.
Most people don't even drive that far.
Right.
I was biking in the hundreds, 300 plus miles, and swimming, 30,000 meters probably, right? Which
not
is
normal.
great. Yeah, a football field's 100 yards. I warm up with 1,000 yards, and I swim that in probably under 10 minutes. So you can imagine how I could factor it in there, being in the pool an hour. So anyway, just quite a bit that I did to release that stuff.
Right.
And then it just ended, and the depression took over, and I had no desire to do all that stuff. So then what I started to do is I started to buy things. I had a lot of money at the time. Right. And I call it dirty water money, and you get what I'm putting down, don't you? And
hashtag always dirty.
Right, always dirty water. If you don't know and you ain't from that industry, you'll pick it up sooner or later. Took a nail in your head. I forgot about that, man. In the middle of a hurricane, in the dark with the power up, I tried to climb up something to do, and there was a nail sticking, like a roofing spike, and it went. I drove it in my head, knocked me out, put me out. I'm laying on the floor in a puddle of blood. And my neighbor just came over in the middle of the hurricane. So I went home in the hurricane because I had the stomach bug. I was throwing my guts up, and nobody at the PD, they were like, screw you, you're going home.
You ain't getting us sick.
You ain't getting us sick. So I remember in the middle of the hurricane, Cantaloupe and Kriesman drove me home. And then I get up to do something, and I'm out. I'm in my garage floor in a puddle of blood. My neighbor came over to check on us, and he opened the door because I always left the one door open just in case. Right. And he walked in and kicked me and stepped right. I was right there. So thanks for reminding me of that nightmare. It was always something, right?
So I've counted 3, where I think we're at 8 lives lost here.
Right.
I mean, how many is it?
I've outlived my life number. If I was a cat, I'm definitely in the teens, that's for sure. I mean, nobody survives of putting a gun to your head and pulling the trigger. But anyway, so with all that being said, what took place, right? I just lost that. So anyway, jump ahead. When I went away and I was able to get a timeout and find myself, right? And then thank God, because in that era is when I met Karen. And Karen, the minute I met her, she was instantly the way she is, supportive and moving in and, moving forward and getting better and healing and all that encouragement. And when I got out, I came home. Life was starting over, right? I was gone for a while. I had a new lease on life, and I had to start my life all over again. And I remember when I got home, and I went to a really, really crappy treatment center. And that's why I'm so proactive about good treatment centers and good programs, because the program that the chief called for me, they brokered me. They brokered me to a heroin treatment center, right? I didn't even, heroin wasn't even on the streets really back then, right? So I go to this heroin treatment center. I'm with 30 heroin addicts, and here I am, a drug agent and, crazy, wanting to kill everybody, kill myself. And I'm hanging out with 30 heroin addicts who, quite a few of them ultimately became very good friends of mine, with that being said. But it was a fail. And I came and when I was done, they were like, okay, man, thanks for being here for 30 days. Good luck to you. Kicked me out the door. I get home. I don't know what to do with myself. I sat in my garage for one whole day. I couldn't even go into the house because all my stuff was in boxes in the garage. I didn't know, I didn't know where to start and where to put it away. But I for some reason, I said to myself, I've got to get me back. I have to do something in order to, in order for me to move forward and go back to work and become Doug again. I've got to do something so radical that I have to test myself. Because
Right.
the other things that I went through, that wasn't a test for me. A test for me to, for some people it could be a PhD or a master's degree, as you know,
Right.
stuff like that, right? But for me, it was, well, can I run across the Mojave Desert, or can I run across the Sahara? I applied to run across the Sahara. It was a 5-day, 150-mile race, but I'd missed the boat on that. So I was like, what else is super hard that can kill me? And, because that's generally what I did, it's got to be able to kill me, man. And so I was like, I got an offer to do Alcatraz, and I'm like, holy crap, nobody can swim across that bay. Sign me up. I'm in.
I'll drown in that pool.
Yeah, right? I can
Right.
do it. And and that's a funny story in itself. So anyway, I had probably less than 2 months to get ready for it. I hadn't trained in probably a year, coming off the injuries, the back surgery, the shoulders. And so anyway, I go to Alcatraz. I'm training for Alcatraz. I get back on my bike. My bike snaps in half at the intersection, and my forks break. The bike breaks in half. I fall down. I end up puncturing an artery in my leg. And a BCSO deputy just drove right around me when I fell right in front of his car and said, fuck that dude. I'm just going to keep going to lunch.
That bitch is crazy.
I've never forgot about that. Thanks for that guy anyway, while I was bleeding out in the middle of the freaking road. But luckily enough, somebody else saw me, threw me in a car, and took me to get medical help. And so a week later, no bike. My bike's broke. I get a loaner bike from the bike company who I raced for. And so it wasn't mine. I get there. I'm totally not ready. Don't know what the hell to expect. They bring me to Alcatraz, and they go, okay, man, it's freaking 52 degrees, the water, freezing ass cold. There's seals, sea lions, great whites, and they're like, see San Francisco over there, you got to swim 2.5 miles as the crow flies, but with the current, right?
Right.
So anyway, man, I start swimming across that freaking San Francisco Bay. I get about halfway across, and I'm free. Like, when you jump in cold water, and you're like, I was doing this for a while.
You don't have any body fat. Like
no.
I could survive, but
I had
no
skinny. Body fat.
Yeah.
I'm swimming across. I'm freezing my ass off, and I just say, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, dang, man. Like, it was hitting me like, oh my God, for the first time in my life, I'm gonna have to quit. I'm not gonna make it. So I calm down. I go, just put your head down and just swim, stroke for stroke, and just swim. Just get the hell out of the middle of this bay where all these freaking monsters are at. So I put my head down, and believe it or not, it's clear. The water's pretty clear. And I look down, and about maybe 20 feet underneath me, I see a submarine. And I'm like, that ain't no damn, submarines don't wiggle. It was swimming like this. And I looked down, and there was this freaking beast. Well, let me tell you this. I was so scared, right, that I just swam so freaking hard that, now listen, when you do Alcatraz, you have a small window, probably 20 feet between rocks, and you got to get up this beach, or else you get sucked under the San Francisco Bay, and they take about 600 people out of the water all the time. And so it's way to my right, but you got to swim left so you can guide it with the current, right? I saw that beach like a mile away. I swam so hard that the next time I looked up, my fingers hit the sand. And I looked up, and the ladder was right in front of me, man. Currents or nothing. I was freaking propelling. And I pulled it off. And I'll tell you what a great feeling that was. It was the same feeling that somebody who catches a marlin, or the same feeling that a person who walks down the aisle and gets their master's degree or bachelor's or any I don't know. I didn't get a degree. I quit at the very end. But I'm sure it's pretty exciting. I know my wife's made quite a bit of achievements with that. And same for you, So anyway, that was that achievement that I needed, that drive to say, okay, listen, you can take your life back. It might not look the same, but you can take your life back no matter what it is. And I was able to move forward, and then I got injured again and again and again and again. I'm not going to sit here and you can look my story up and see how many, I got 27 screws in my body after all those.
That's And that's why I wanted to start with the ending, because even through all of that, you pulled through and you found a way to fill your cup. You know, the cup can be empty. The cup can be half empty. The cup can be whatever you put in it, like, you could have given up. You didn't have to continue to do this. We didn't even have to meet today. But there's a bigger message here.
Yeah, there is a bigger message, and this is, you know, in this industry, everybody focuses on that mental health, and it's a big push in law enforcement or first responders nowadays and veterans, right? It's a big push, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's opening up a business, everybody's opening nonprofit. Shit, there's 800 podcast shows now, there's webinar, it's crazy, right? And which is good. We do need stuff like that. But it's not always, everybody assumes that it's trauma caused from shootings and dead babies. And yeah, that is a big factor. It wasn't, you know, the shootings and gunfights and all that, man, whatever, like, hell yeah, what, you want to party? Let's get some guns. I'm down for that. That really wasn't the radical part. I've got some moments and some scars in my head that I wish would go away from, you know, dead things and, you know, that type of stuff. We all do. Right. But for me, it was more of the physical trauma that impacted me. And you know, I have this, you know, this attitude of, I have that warrior mentality. And, you know, if I can't serve, then what good am I? That was what I had in this thing. And then what good was life going to be? And then, you know, as time went on, you know, I got injured again, right? So at the time of the first one, you know, when the kid plowed me into a tree, it was the back, a knee, and a shoulder. By the time this story ended, it's 7 shoulder surgeries, 2 knee surgeries, 2 back surgeries, not including the staph infection that almost killed me, you know, from one thing, and, you know, all kind of stab wounds, and, you know what I mean? It was just always something, you know, and it just impacted me till where it basically, and this is my biggest struggle today. And I'm not just telling my story because I'm sick of telling it, but there's a method to my madness here that we'll wrap up in a little bit. It progressed further, meaning, you know, you can't just go to a treatment and be fixed. You can't just do one little thing and it be okay and better. You can't have an argument with your spouse and just say you're sorry and it be fixed. You have to continue to care, continue. And if you're on a diet, you got to continue. Like, you might lose the weight, but you got to continue to stay healthy and eat healthy. And for me, it was, you know, I slowly lost everything. And, you know, it was, I couldn't surf no more. I couldn't run no more. I couldn't bike. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do all this type of stuff, to where I was getting to the point, and I live this life now, but it's really hard for me every day. You know what I mean? To accept that. But today, I told Karen the other day, I said, babe, I have to do something. I can't just do what we're doing now. Like, you know, I'm a pretty lucky guy, man, to be 50 years old. I'll be 51 next week. I think it's next week. 51, and I'm basically retired. Right. I don't have to work if I don't want to. I live within my means. I don't live out of my means, you know. I'm pretty lucky like that, but I have to, I'm at that point where I've got to do something again. And I told Karen, I said, I think I'm going to make another comeback. Now, I won't be able to run, but I can maybe trot, and I can walk. I can walk like a son of a gun. Yeah, that's what I do. I walked 5 miles almost this morning. You know, I'm starting to get back to that active level again, but I need that drive back in me in order to go to the next level of my life. Like, people don't realize, I say I don't work, but I'm busy, man. I'm constantly on the phone. I'm constantly dealing with those, you know, and pressures and stress. And, you know, I mean, you know, I just had a cop a couple weeks ago that shot himself in the head, and I had to deal with the family and the coworkers and friends and with him. And, you know, that's a lot. So I still need to do stuff for myself.
Right.
And I told Karen, I said, I got to do it again. And she basically looked at me like, you are insane. Well, it's not the first time somebody's looked at me and said that or gave me that look, but I need it for me, to the point where if it kills me, I'll die with a smile on my face, because I need that drive. I need that drive. So
I got it. We can actually let's start this. Like, if you're listening and you're kind of crafty and got some kind of really good background in doing events. I know somebody just organized a huge boat show. He could probably put this together for us. But you did Iron Man. We could call it the Retired Man.
Yeah, I would go as bad as saying retarded, but I know that's not politically incorrect, the retarded man. And, the guys used to call me the Tin Man after I got broken up. But
and that can be the thing. If you're broken and you no longer work in this field or whatever, and you want to come back out and watch a bunch of old guys like hobble down the street and swim in some cold water, whatever it is. I mean, Tin Man. Yeah.
But it's a thought. I'm definitely entertaining it. I want to do and so I'm talking about doing the Ironman again. One more. I've always said to everybody, I got one more in me. And it's been on my mind 24 hours a day. I'm missing it. And Karen and I were joking, because I got, in my house, I got all the medals, and I'm like, we should take them down. I don't deserve them anymore, right? It's been like, it's been like 7
years. You can't unwin a race.
Right? But I don't feel like, I should be bragging. Like people come over and they go, wow. And I'm like, yeah, those are mine. And then I'm like, nah, well, I don't, a long time ago, right?
He tried to give them to my daughters to wear for like play jewelry.
Yeah. Here's some gold and some brass or whatever, bronze and silvers. And so anyway, and then today, I got off subject, but it's made me happy. My longtime training partner since the beginning, we're talking maybe 30 years, 20-something years, something like that. And dear friend called me today, and he said, I put my retirement in.
Wow. And
we have been talking about this on thousands and thousands and thousands of miles, of riding and running. And we do dinner, all the time. He lives down the street. We're just close friends. And so anyway, when he told me that, I was like, that's enough signs for me. And that's what he's pretty beat up, and he's got one more left in him. And it was a goal that when we retired, we would do one somewhere cool, like go take our wives on a vacation and do one more. And the reason I'm telling you guys this is because this is the important factor. No matter what it is you do, I don't care if you golf, if you shine cars, if you play video games, whatever it is that makes you happy, you've got to reach down, ride in motorcycles. Like you guys like to ride your bikes. Yep. You should make in your weekly work schedule a bike ride. And because this is what people don't realize, you get consumed into work. Like I remember once I made SWAT, every time I'd paddle out surfing, and that's all I ever want to do is surf. If I could surf every day, all day long, I would. I'm just not physically able. I would constantly be worried that I was getting a SWAT call out and I was missing a phone, right? And so it impacted and kind of ruined that for me. But what I'm saying is, when you have this physical part, we're talking about physical injury trauma, meaning every cop gets fat. It's just inevitable. It comes with the territory, right? You're sitting in a car all day. You don't eat good. You don't take care of yourself, right? That, I believe, is not the key component. I don't think it's now there's some fat asses that don't leave their desk. You work with a few of them, and I'll call them out by their face. If you're watching my show, you're fat ass. Get out from behind your desk and do your job. And there's no excuse for it. But for the most part, and I'm not talking about you, Doug Levine, if you're watching. I'm not, because I see him and I know him, and he's probably think he's talking about me. You're the one I'm not talking about. You have to force yourself to do the things you love to do, because it's a double-edged sword. The depression kicks in, right? From the physical trauma, it happens to everybody. It could just be weight, because of the depression from the job depresses you. You get tired, you get fatigued. I've talked about in other shows, you're so physically and mentally exhausted when you get home. You don't want to do anything, and you give up on all those little things. And it's like training. If you go out and you force yourself to, John Blackledge, let me stop for a minute. John Blackledge a couple weeks called me. I told him, I'm like, man, I'm struggling. I'm sick of being at the house. I'm bored. I want to get out there, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, go paddle. And I said, he goes, get on your paddle board and go paddle. Go out in the ocean and paddle around. And he goes, let me ask you a question. And John Blackledge, if y'all don't know him, he's a big wig in law enforcement. He's my mentor, and he's a pretty incredible guy.
Incredible, yeah.
He said to me, he's
I don't think that
phenomenal.
him.
Yeah, he's phenomenal
Doesn't
guy.
give
If
him
you
the-
don't know him, you need to know him. And he said, has it ever sucked when you paddled out? And I went, matter of fact, no, it has never sucked. So I forced now Karen and I go swimming every day in the ocean. We even went and got boogie boards, because if there's no waves, we just float around the boogie boards and ride on our bellies like wee, like little kids. And it's fun. You saw us the other day. I was doing it with the kids. So, whatever, just to get in the water to feel good. And where I'm getting at is, when you feel good and you force yourself to feel good, you're going to feel better. Your mind's going to be clearer. You're going to be able to go back to work and be more productive.
Right.
It's kind of like one of them revolving wheels. It is imperative that you fight your own depression as best as you possibly can. Laying on the couch, you have to force yourself. I get stuck in these moments, man. This son of a bitch right here is the damn devil. And it's more of the devil now than any time. How did I turn my camera on? Look at that. That was weird. It was off and just turned on. Yeah,
skinny.
Because everybody looks at this, and I do too, because, I got to check Survive First stuff and Trauma Behind the Badge and all these things we got going on. And you look at it, and all there is just crap.
Oh, there's
hatred, racism, this, that, everything is negative. And if it is a negative, it's some chick showing her feet on the beach, or some, the stuff I bitch about all the time. I used to bitch about all the chicks who always took the aerial shots of their cleavage. Well, I'm telling all you girls that used to do that, do it again, because anything's got to be.
We're tired of seeing your feet.
we're tired of seeing all this dirt. Put the phone down. It is, you do have the ability to put the phone down, because once upon a time we didn't have these things, right? Well, we had flip phones, man, and Nextels, and they were cool. So so I'm not going to put his name out because he didn't put it, but Florida Sheriff's Association said that the depression is crippling and leads to a spiral. You have to strategically fight it. Exactly. He couldn't have said it no better. You've got to fight it yourself. So I'm begging you, whatever it is that you love to do, you've got to force it. And you almost, like you do everything else, like you put in your calendar, oh, I got to work from 9 to 5. Okay, well, from 7 to 8 that day, you need to go do something, whether it's walk around the block, walk the beach, walk your dog, ride your bike. If you fish and you can't fish that day, go out and reassemble your tackle box. Right. Just stay in that that movement, and focus on those things, and you'll see what a difference your average day will look like in your view. And don't be misled by physical trauma. It comes in it doesn't have to be a train wreck like me and get beat up and broken up and a bunch of bolts and screws. But the physical trauma can be your health and your well-being. And as a first responder, it sucks the life out of you. This job, whether you're a dispatcher, cop, firefighter, it doesn't matter. It sucks the life out of you. And now more than ever. I can't complain because I'm retired, but for guys like you that are still in it, this job is sucking the life out of you. And when it does that, and it sucks the energy out of you, and it sucks the good spirit and all the happiness and all the stuff you have going for you, what ends up taking place is you get lazy, you get tired. Did my wife just put a cat on that picture, man? People wonder why I'm so violent. So,
cats make her happy.
They do make her happy. Yeah, freaking. So today I was playing. You put anything in my hand, I'll turn it into a gun and try to shoot shit. Right. So I'm walking around and I'm looking for the cats, trying to make like they were bad guys. And I had a cordless screw gun in my hand, and Karen just was like, "Oh my God, babe," So anyway, focus on that physical trauma in any way, shape, or form. It does not have to be an injury with a cast. It can just be here, and it's going to be a domino effect. It's going to wear you out. You're going to quit taking care of yourself. And I'm going to tell you why you need to do this here in a second. You're going to quit taking care of yourself. You're going to quit exercise. You're going to quit eating healthy. You're going to quit doing these type of things. And then there's consequences and repercussions to that. And what you do, and what I heard every freaking old cop I ever worked with, they were absolutely annoying, every one of them. If y'all are listening, you know who you are. I can't wait 3 years, 2 months, 12 days. Like, they got this shit down to the hour. Right. I'm retiring and I'm never coming back to this job and blah, 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 right? They all do that. Right. And then they go home and they die. And they don't do anything. Half of them came back because they were bored. And the reason that takes place is because this career, this first responder career, it sucks so much life out of you that you don't pay attention to it, that you have heart problems, kidney problems, every time I get on stage, you were there the last time, Orlando, I go, how many people in the audience are on blood pressure medicine? And 90% of the people raise their hand. And then I told everybody, well, the other 10% in the room, y'all are freaking liars, right? Oh, yeah. Because you know your blood pressure's through the roof. And so you do this, you put all this investment in. You put your family second to the job. Right. You put your friends third. You put your in-laws, your extended family. You put everything down the line for the job. And whether you know that or not, for the guy who goes home on Saturday and Sunday and never leaves the couch, the reason you're on that couch is because that job sucked the ever-living life out of you this week. And you don't have anything in your tank to do it. Your wife saying, hey, you need to go cut the grass. And you're looking at her going, fuck you, you go cut the grass, man. I don't have it in me. Right. I'm only speaking real here. And these are the conversations. I know these because I have so many conversations with first responders going, oh, man, my wife's mad at me because I don't have anything in me. And I have to continually have this conversation. So with that being said, it's imperative that the physical side of it is a factor. Because, listen, if you just have mental trauma, if you're not in physically geared up shape to fight it, you're not going to be able to get it. You've got to have some energy in you, and you've got to take better care of yourself. And the ultimate goal is to retire and enjoy it, right?
Well, you got to have a goal of retirement.
Goal, something, whatever it is. Like, listen, everybody works and wants to retire one day and quit. But why? If you're going to go home and deteriorate. The ultimate goal in anything you do in life, like for you, you take such pride in making your beer, and the ultimate goal is to see people drink and go, "Oh man, this is good."
Oh
this
yeah, like good. Right? Having something that's, you know, I work. You know, everybody has a job, everybody does something, but to have somebody compliment you on what you're working on is the best.
Oh yeah,
sure. Absolutely. It's saving a life, putting a fire out, saving somebody's house. Whatever it is, it takes a lot, but there is reward at the end. And the ultimate reward for like me is the finish line. I don't care what it takes. I've got to see that finish line. I don't look in the stands. I don't care what anybody thinks. It's for me, right? That's why I pulled this shirt out of the day and I fit into it just to remind me like, hey, man, I still got it in me. I can still do the things that I want to do. They just might look a little different for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not. I'm not going to win a championship anymore. You know, the last time I raced, I won a championship. And
they have a branch for like over 50?
They don't. But they got. Hey, I think I got a handicap tag. I mean, I could probably like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll probably win in that division, but until my shoulder's burned up. But I'm begging you guys for listening to the show because I'm going to turn it over to Chris in a minute. I've been talking too much.
You don't talk too much.
It's imperative that you understand the difference between physical trauma and mental trauma. You also need to understand that the two will combat each other and the two will connect each other.
Yes.
Meaning mental trauma can cause physical trauma to your body, and physical trauma can cause mental problems. Because that's really what got to me was the physical turned into mental. and I couldn't handle the both of them. So whatever it is, whatever you need to do, however you need to do it, start taking better care of yourself. If you drink 3 sodas a day, drink 2 tomorrow. If you drink 4 cups of coffee, drink 3 tomorrow. Whatever, just start baby steps and put a sticker on your computer at work. Put a sticker in your cop car, your fire truck, whatever the hell you do during the day, and just put on there, say, put yourself first. Take care of yourself. Take better care of whatever you need to put on there to remind yourself, take better care of yourself. Because listen, we have a saying in Spec Ops, if you can't save somebody else, if you can't save yourself.
That's first thing, first and foremost.
In the Parkland shooting, when everybody asked me about that guy, I said, I stuck up for him. And I said, listen, if you don't know what you're running into, you're not going to run into it. I know however it turned out, but right. I used to tell people, you got to be able to make sure that your ducks are in a row if I'm going to save you. Because what good am I if I run through the front door and get killed? Now I made it worse for my guys to save the people because they got to save me first. So you have to save yourself first before you can save others. You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others.
Well, you just said so much by saying so little. You said, I just made it so much harder because they got to save me first. And here it is. Here's the truth. We're here to save you first. Mm-hmm. Like your team, the people that surround you, we want to help you. We want to save you. And we put our family first. So whether you're sitting behind a dispatch console, whether you're driving the big red truck or the ambulance or the police car or the jail van, or you work behind those fences in the prisons or whatever it is, we're here to save you. And ask yourself this: what is my end goal? If you don't have a goal to retire, right, get out now. If what is your goal? That's what I wake up every morning and say, today, what is my goal? Okay, I want to make it through the day. I want to help myself and I want to help my family. If I can't help myself, I can't help anybody else. And you just said that. You clearly articulated that. And that is the truth. So I get up, I get dressed. And when I get dressed, and I'm not looking like a slouch, like, okay, when I got dressed today, I got dressed to do yard work. After that, I cleaned myself and felt, put something that made me happy to wear to go out and present myself to the world. Bourbon makes me happy, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but it does. So anyways, every day I get up and get dressed. I don't just, I can just throw on these shorts and this shirt and be comfortable. No, if you stop by my house, I'm presentable. I am presentable for me, so I am presentable for you. So I set a goal for myself to be successful every day, and then get the girls up, my daughters, and we start moving forward, or whatever that is. So have a goal. And if you don't have a long-term goal of wherever you're at right now in a first responder role, hey, jump out. It's okay. Say it. I have met so many people that respect people that have said, this job is not for me, and they've gotten out. I mean, we do have respect for you. Now, let's turn the table a little bit. If this is your career, if this is your lifestyle, if this is your goal, and that goal is to retire, you got to take care of yourself. You have to set a daily goal, a midterm goal, a long-term goal, because if you don't do that, you're not going to make it. If you can't have a point in which you get to, for me, when I was running, it was to the next light pole. I don't run during the daytime. I don't like to be hot. So I would go out and I'd start running at night, and it was just to the next light pole, just to the next light pole. I had short goals to get to the finish line. My finish line is 30 years of policing, and God willing, I'll make 30 years of policing, and I'm willing to be flexible and change at each different turn. And there's a lot of turns. Some of the turns right now aren't easy turns. You notice we haven't talked about what's going on in the news. That shit's behind us. Get over it. We're not going to stop doing what we do for a national rhetoric. You guys and ladies are amazing people. The majority of us are amazing people. So Don't live in that. Don't say, oh, God, well, it's not a good time to police. It's not a good time to be in law enforcement. It's not a good time to be a firefighter. It's not a good time to be a dispatcher. That's bullcrap.
It's a great time.
It's a great time.
People are getting beat up for no reason. People are getting hurt. It's a great time to be a cop and a firefighter and all those things.
Take back America. Take back your seat. Take back your family. And when the world hates you and the people around you hate you, stick to your family. Stay close. Fight hard and fight for yourself. You matter, and you should matter to yourself. Like I tell people this. I love myself. I have my name tattooed on me, my signature. Like, my whole thought was, I got a cross on my back. If I get decapitated, at least they know who the body belongs to. Like, executionary style, I'm ready. But I don't live like that anymore. But I do love myself. And I know that I have to, and it's a mental fight every single day. This is a mental game. All of the physical and all of that other part, it's all mental. In the military, we say, you're not a horse. You're not going to run your body to death. Your body's going to stop you and say, no. You're going to sit down right here today. You're not going to go further. It won't let you go further. It won't let you run till your heart explodes. It will stop you. So push yourself to the limit physically and have a strong mind. Having that strong mind, there's every hurdle, every hurdle, every person, every new unit that you go to, every time someone new comes into the group, there's a change, a dynamic. If you're mentally strong, what's your favorite saying? Strong mind, strong sword, right?
Sharp mind, sharp sword.
Right. You sharpen your mind. You have this ongoing conversation with you, and if you're in that depression, you don't have to let it just continue to overwhelm you. Set that time limit. Okay, yeah, I'm going to be pissed off and upset and mad, but I'm only going to let that last 5 minutes. Here it is. I'm going to play pity party for 5 minutes, time it, and say, after 5 minutes, what's the change? What's the end goal? How do I get out of this? Well, I'm going to change it. And whatever that change is, get up and walk out of the damn room. Say, no, I won't do that anymore. I'm not going to be the person sitting on my garage when I can't even push the weights, when I can't even hit the bag. I mean, I know guys that right now are going through some hard stuff, and the way that they fight through it is to go and work out for 3 or 4 hours. And their mind is so refreshed after pushing that iron for so many hours, and because it doesn't talk back. And they can yell and scream at themselves in their head and then get it all out. And the same with running or doing something. Whatever that is for you. I mean, some people, my sister, she cooks. I love when my sister's mad because she cooks. And, like, I would be 100 pounds if I would just keep her mad, but I'm not. Or 500 pounds, I meant to say.
Karen cleans, and she's never mad, so you know what that means.
Dirty house. I'm sorry.
No, it ain't dirty. I'm too freaking hyper to let that go down.
But dirty draws because she ain't doing laundry when she's happy. No,
I do laundry too.
So, anyways, go to get Karen mad and then invite her over to your house. She'll clean it. That's the long and the short of it. But you got to stick together. I mean, this is such a good time for challenges because you are not alone. I had a short conversation the other day, and it was someone within the police department, and I said, you're not alone. There's a lot of people going through this. You don't have to be alone. And that person's job isn't a frontline warrior, wearing a uniform. It's a support part of the agency, and they matter too. And I had to say that is that if you look to your left and to your right, there's someone else going through the same exact thing. We've all been through depression. We all, have seen something that we don't want to acknowledge that bothers us or that looms in our mind, but it's there. So if you speak up and say, I'm only going to allow this to have an adverse effect on me, I give it 5 minutes. If it needs to happen for a day, okay, give it the day. But after the day, after the sun sets, it's over. You got to move on and be willing to fight through it. And people will respect you and love you and lift you up when you say, I'm going through this. I have this problem. I need help. Because I don't want to get the phone call that you didn't make it through.
Yeah, that I get.
Yeah.
Tell people all the time, you want to answer them phone calls that I'm getting. My haircut depresses me. First of all, jackass. Look at that. That's not a haircut. That's called, I always have a hat on.
Yeah.
But I'm so freaking sick of being hot and sweaty. I shaved my beard short. I freaking buzzed my hair because I was just not cutting, doing that stuff, man.
It's got to be what, 5-8 years since you've had a clean-shaven face? When's the last time?
Yeah, I hadn't shaved my face clean since probably 15.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. I'm just too freaking late. I hate it. I would love to not have it, and I look a whole hell of a lot younger. So, what up, Matt? I see Matt, my main man, one of our best sponsors out there, and the best places. Make sure you support your local gun stores, man. Don't buy that crap from online or from the Walmarts and Dick's Sporting Goods. B&H Gun Police Supply, man, they always support us. Dirty Ore, I'm going to give a shout out since I'm on the roll to everybody. Chateau Recovery, Stepstones, they make all this stuff come together. Tomorrow night is Trauma Behind the Badge at 7 o'clock. You can go to traumabehindthebadge.com to register for the webinar. We got Jonathan Hickory on there from Break Every Chain. He's got a movie coming out. He's got a cool book. We just got our certificate today. We've never told anybody this, but we were a part with Chris Fields. We were part of something for Chris, our organization tied up with Chris Fields, and we got our certificate because it was a nominated for an Emmy.
Oh, wow.
So Survive First has got its first Emmy nomination plaque on the wall, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Chris, for that.
Very cool.
Yeah, real cool. I'm pretty happy. Dick's doesn't sell guns anymore because they're snowflakes. Oh, well, screw them anyway. Good, So anyway, I want to give one more thing before I close out. What does it look like? That was what the show was about. And I'll tell you what it looks like, man. It comes in many different ways. And a lot of people see me here, if they see me on the show or, on any other type of stuff. And I seem to function fairly well in certain atmospheres.
Right.
But for the people who really know me, like yourself and Chris, these guys, they see a different side than what most people do. And what a physical injury can look like is, and it sucks, physical injury, like, granted, I got a bunch of bolts and screws and bumps and bruises, but how about not being able to be around more than a handful of people at one time because I start to scratch my skin off? And how about not being able to be around kid activities and children? I was able, and I do like that, part of that is from losing my son, Cameron. But like this weekend was fun for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To play with, to teach the girls how to surf and boogie board. I like doing that type of stuff. But, getting tremors and to where I can't hold things in my hands anymore because I drop them. From having a TBI, I don't remember what I used to, having night terrors every night and waking up every, 10 minutes or reoccurring nightmares and, not being able to go into public by myself. We joke about it, how I don't really go, there's very few places that I will go without Karen. If I do, there's only certain people that I will connect with. Like when I travel, I only travel with my buddy Thayer because he knows how to deal with me and he takes care of me. He's my buddy, man. And it can look like factors like that. And it's exhausting. It's tiring, man. Like, I haven't seen my mom and my sister in years.
Yeah.
I barely see my brother. And, when your mom calls you crying on holidays, says, why won't you come visit us? And it sucks to have to tell them because they don't understand it that I can't, because I can't be around people. And I don't trust, if somebody trips, like, if somebody barks at me, I'm going to punch you.
Right.
You come up and say, "Hey, Doug," I'm going to hug you back. It's hard for me to go from one extreme to the other. I feed off of that. That's
right.
Part of the disease. I call it a disease. That's part of post-traumatic stress disorder, is having that. it sucks. And for me, that physical trauma impacts and wears down on me and wears on my body. And, like I keep the blinds shut in the house and lock the door, and I don't want to go outside because today's just not a good day for me to be around people because I just wake up like that. How it might look for somebody else is, you're putting on the weight, or your back's bothering you, your knees are aching, you've got headaches all the time, you're out of breath, your blood pressure's up. All these factors are so important for you to deal with and to combat them and to make sure, listen, if you can just do one thing, to just start trying to take better care of yourself, period. And it will be so much easier to deal with other things. It doesn't always have to be a radical situation. Like me and the rest of the guys on the team, including yourself, we've been in wars, we've been in fights and gunfights and this and deads. And, it's not an easy thing to watch bodies float by, in water, dead. All these things, they're radical and then they do suck. But it's just equally as important as to take care of yourself, right? Can't go anywhere without a gun in your pocket. I can't leave my house. I walk my dog around the yard with a gun in my pocket. I got a gun in my freaking pants right now. There's a gun on the table. People might laugh at us, but listen, man, like when you have a gun pointed at you or bullets shoot at you or you've been hit before,
I get pissed. I got to return fire. It's time.
No, you did not just shoot that shit at me. That was from Men in Black. Didn't he say that?
I have to return fire. That is the only thing that's going to happen.
Please, it's important that you take care of yourself and take care of your others. There was a comment on there about when your friends are home and your coworkers are home that are physically injured. When I got physically injured the first time, everybody thought I was faking just because I wanted some time off and I wanted to go surfing in South America. And that wasn't the case. And it hurt. I always tell the story. I had a supervisor call me and go, "Hey, man, where are you at?" And I go, "Well, I'm at home." This is when I couldn't even wipe my own butt era,
Right.
Wheelchair, walkers. And I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, somebody just told me you were in Costa Rica surfing." And my answer to him was, "Are you fucking kidding me? I can't even wipe my own ass. I'm over here in a wheelchair." Not one person ever came over to visit me in that era because that's just what they thought. And it impacted me rather
Right.
drastically.
Right.
So with that, I'm not at, whatever, it's long gone and that's all been, what's the term, rectified? Like, everybody made good. It was just that time, nobody got it. But it is important that you check on your guys. I always say call 5 of your friends every week, Right on, Chris. Rather have it than need it, right? Well, the saying is rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah.
So, that goes with everything saying take care of yourself physically is just as important as mentally, vice versa.
Right.
Because if you look good, when you look in the mirror and you see, it's different for us because, we obviously don't have that, obesity problem or something like that. But for people who do, when you start to see the difference and you look better, you feel better.
Absolutely.
I always say that women are the best at it. Like
Right.
when your wife puts makeup on and that's part of the reason why we're doing the policeman's ball.
Right.
When a wife feels good and dresses up, they look good, they feel good, and that makes your life that much better, right? So it's important to feel good and to look good and do all those things so that you can get by and get to the finish line in some way, shape, or form. And my sister, man, my sister's on the show. I just got done talking about her. Did I not? Yeah. I have not seen my little sister.
Oh, wow.
Who was probably the coolest sister that anybody can. My whole life we were cool.
Right.
We always made each other laugh, and my sickness caused me to not be able to be around my sister and her family.
Wow.
And it took a long time to understand that and heal from that,
Right.
And I just got done telling everybody about her, and she just chimed in and said, "Love you." I love you, sis. You know that, man. She's my only sister. So, not Summer Karen. What does that mean? Summer Karen or Summer Karen is when she's not at work. So anyway, we're going over
like
our time.
Karen.
I love Summer Karen. I love Karen, period, man. Summer, winter, fall, whatever, man. I just don't like Cat Karen. whatever, cat Karen. Dad, you can't do that. Anyway, shout out Buddy Check, Buford T. Justice, man. That dude is on every one of our shows. He posts stuff every day. He is a warrior for the cops out there, man. Individual guy.
We love that.
Yeah, I do too, man. I got mad respect for that dude, and he's always out there doing it. So, you want to close this out?
Yeah, sure. So, hey, the different events coming up, the signups and all that, you can find us on Survive First on Facebook. Karen would normally go through all of this. I'm sorry I don't have all the dates and times. So please follow along on Facebook. Again, Doug said it. Call 5 of your best friends. Call 5 friends. Call 5 people. Tell them you're thinking about them. Like and share. Let other people know about what's going on here, this conversation. Participate in the conversation with us. Give us the feedback. We want to get better for you. We want you to get better, whatever that looks like. So if you find your way to Cocoa, you got to stop by the Dirty Oar. We're so thankful for all the people that continue to sponsor us and take care of us. We couldn't do it without you, and we hope that we continue to get our message out there of help, and that it's an all-inclusive help for people that want to make a difference in this world. Also, too, I'm reading all the comments. I'm sorry. Support your local business like the Dirty Oar. Tell all your friends, go by there this week, because obviously if you weren't paying attention to social media and the news, they just did something really big to show how much they care about the first responders. So go by there this week. Tell all your friends, stop by there, pick up something to go. Maybe stop in there and say hi to everybody. And your wife just said, run first, run for survivors. What does that mean? The 5K we have coming in January. You can sign up now for it.
The 5K.
And it's going to happen in January, come hell or high water. So it's an outdoor thing. I mean, there's a lot of, you always turn it up a notch every year. I mean, the medallions, the badges, they are absolutely incredible. Yeah, so
yeah, we're looking forward.
It's a good time. We want to see you out there. Go ahead and register now, because I think there's a discounted price somewhere in there if you register now. So please come out, support that, pass it along. Last year we had people from out of town, which is a big deal. I mean, they listen to the show. I mean, it's a fellowship thing, absolutely. So we want you to come fellowship with us. We don't want to take up any more of your time. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Chris, Doug, Chris from the Dirty Oar, and Karen will be back soon. We love you guys. Be safe.